Giles-without-Cripplegate is one of the last medieval churches left in the City of London. Step inside and the first thing that hits you is the height. This great timber roof rising above you like the hull of an upturned ship. The church we see today was rebuilt in the 1390s, a perpendicular Gothic survivor that somehow outlasted fires, the Blitz, and the rebuilding of the entire Barbican around it. A church has stood on this spot for nearly 1,000 years. Once just outside the old Cripplegate in the city wall, a name that comes from the Saxon word for a covered passage, not from disability as people often assume. On the north side is the sword rest, a reminder of the church's deep ties to the city. These ornate brackets once held the Lord Mayor's ceremonial sword during official visits, and St Giles has welcomed more than quite a few of them. The most notable being Sir William Staines, who was the Lord Mayor in 1800. The stained glass here tells the story of the parish. Above the altar, the east window floods the chancel with colour, a modern replacement after wartime damage, but still echoing the medieval rhythm to the building. One side is the east window to Edwin Allen, the actor and theatre founder who worshipped here before establishing Dulwich College, and scattered around the church are windows marking the great events that happened within these walls. The marriage of Oliver Cromwell, the baptism of Daniel Defoe, and the long complicated story of this extraordinary parish. What I love about the stained glass here is how it layers time, medieval patterns besides modern colour, each window catching the light differently as the day moves. You can almost read the parish's history in the glass itself, from the actors and writers who worship here to the political storms that once shook these walls. My favourite part of the church was the four figures that watch from the walls. Milton is buried here, the parish's most famous son, though he was actually baptised at St Mary le Bow, just a short walk from here, which I featured in an earlier episode. Daniel Defoe was also baptised here, Bunyan representing the nonconformist world that shaped this part of London, and of course Oliver Cromwell, whose marriage in this church to Elizabeth Bourchier in 1620 tiled St Giles to the turbulence of the Civil War. Milton is the one who seems to dominate the space, his bust close to the grave, as if he's still presiding over the parish that shaped him. Not all stories here, however, are headline names. There's Thomas Busby, the 17th century musician, remembered on a modest tablet, and Sir William Staines, bricklayer turned Lord Mayor, whose memorial speaks to the city's long tradition of self-made men rising through the craft and service. St Giles is unusual in having two organs as well. The great organ at the west end, rebuilt after the war, fills the nave with a deep resonant sound, and the smaller chamber organ near the chancel brings a more intimate voice, perfect for the choir and the long tradition of sacred music in this parish. St Giles-without-Cripplegate is a medieval survivor surrounded by concrete towers, a church that has outlived almost everything around it. Writers, actors, explorers, mayors and musicians, they all pass through these doors, and somehow in the middle of the Barbican, the old parish church still holds its shape and its stories in its silence. Thank you so much for watching the Pew Review. If you enjoy watching videos about the old churches of London and the UK, follow along for more, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers everyone.